Hi, good day, Andy. Thank you very much for your help. This article is an article about the Public Safety Committee meeting to be held tomorrow, Monday afternoon, starting at 4:15. So this meets at 4:15, but you see, City Council meets at 5:30, and typically the men need a short break between these two committee meetings since City Council goes on so long. So the point I'm trying to make is, I don't know how they can get through this agenda in 1 hour. It might be worth making a comment about the Public Safety Committee has a lot to get through in its brief hour or so of scheduled meeting time, because between you and me it's impossible. Okay, so they're going to have public comments, and the public comment section, well, let me start differently. There apparently is going to be a review of the mid-year discipline results and the use of force results. These have been done many times before, or agendized, excuse me. These two have been agendized many times before, multiple times before, but have never been heard due to time constraints. So they're both on there again. Let me go down and okay, so they do show up as old business that needs to be done, and so I'm expecting there will be a presentation of this formally. It's been on the agenda multiple times, but due to long comment periods and short meeting times, many times in multiple previous meetings, they have not really gone over this in great detail. The new business for the evening, the most important thing is presentation on body-worn cameras and related policy. So the highlight of your story, I think, should be that the meeting is short, but they're tackling a lot of big things, and probably the one item which will get the most attention is going to be a presentation on body-worn cameras and related policy. So it's necessary to scroll way down, like to the page 28, to the new business to focus in on this presentation. And let me explain the background. The background is that a draft policy was put out where the public can comment on it. After the draft policy was commented on, the police chief went and took the draft policy and showed it to the unions, the police officer unions, and they negotiated with the police officer unions for several months to get the policy the way the unions would accept it. Finally, when the unions did accept it, the police chief rolled out the policy and put the cameras out on the street. In other words, the public did not have a chance to hear the final policy after the union had given its input. So it went from the public for discussion into private talks with the union, into out on the street and in force. No one ever had a chance to go back in the public and comment upon the changes and the final version that the union demanded. So this has led to a lot of problems where people are furious and saying, wait a minute, you didn't come back and ask us what we thought of this final policy. And the police chief's response was, I don't have to. I'm the police chief. I can run my department. I don't have to come to you for permission. I do what I'm paid for. I run the department. I listen to the public's remarks, I listen to the union's remarks, and I made my policy. It's not quite that simple in the sense that he didn't just listen to the union remarks. He had to negotiate and come to a deal with them. And I guess a further logic is if he took the final version back to the public and the public didn't like it, he couldn't change it because he'd already committed to the union to do it a certain way. He's kind of trapped, but he also does have the the power to set policy. So anyway, let's take a look at this. Here's what I wanted to ask you to do in writing the story. I'll give you the background to explain the controversy and the reason why so many people will be at City Hall tomorrow to complain. And it's really simple. It's just what I explained to you. After the agreement, the deal was struck with the union, the police chief did not go back and show it to the public before he said, this is it,
Go out on the street with these cameras, guys. This is how to do them. Public never got any input into the final policy, only into the draft policy. So if you go back and look at the agenda for tomorrow night, you'll see that they list the policy right here. This is the draft policy that the public saw, okay? And the department gave this draft policy to the Department of Justice in order to get money to pay for the cameras. It's a draft policy, all right? Then they very cleverly, yada, yada, yada. It doesn't matter because it's a draft. It all got replaced. All right, then it's like bait and switch. All right, now here next on page 39 is the actual policy. All right, and we don't need to read it. It's very complicated, but because there's a document down here that is provided, which is most important. Memorandum highlighting the changes between the draft the public saw and the final current policy, which is now in effect. So they've gone and made this chart, and here's the summary. So this summary on page 49, the summary and the background is important for you to please read and use. And then this can basically, you can check through here and see and see the most important changes, all right, that have been made. See, let's see, changes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, there's a lot of changes. 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 substantial changes between what the public saw and commented on, and also what the Department of Justice saw and granted money for, versus the final policy that was finalized and put out on the street. So that's the story. Thank you.